Alrighty, so we are still in the process of getting ready to put in this motherboard into this case, and I think that one of the things that we need to check out here is whether or not, so there are some holes up in here which might be for the cooling mount, and we might need to install some sort of bracket on the back. I'm not 100% sure of that. And so we're going to take a look first at the cooler here. And this is Noctua's latest cooler. This is their flagship, and it is hopefully it has some paper instructions in here so that I don't have to go looking shit up online on whether or not I need to, what order I need to do this stuff in. And oh, I asked for paper instructions and right on top of the box. So let's see here. The secure mounting system. Okay, so shows Intel and AMD, and it does look like there is a bracket that's going to need to be installed on the motherboard before I put it into the case. All right, so now this, this particular cooler was designed for previous models, meaning this is an LGA 1851 on the motherboard. This was designed for up to LGA 1700, but according to their website, it is fully compatible with the LGA 1851. And oh, in fact, you know what? They've updated this on here. So it does say it right here on the box. Okay, that's good. It means that this was manufactured after they had all the specs for this stuff, which makes me feel a little bit better. There is some differences between the 1700 and the 1851. Most notably is where the heat spot is on the CPU. It's I think that the 1700 it was just about dead center, and now it's offset just a little bit on this one, not quite center. So, all right, we have handy pictures here, and I haven't done one of these in a while. You know, my last computer I built was in 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago. And that's my main gaming computer that I'm using right now, which mostly works fine. I mean, until we blew up the radiator in it and stuff like that. All right, let's see here. Let me find the Intel portion. This is AMD. And here is Intel. All right, so I am going to need to interesting. There's some positioning differences for the different types of boards. Let's see here. Use hole position 1 and hole position 2 for the 1700. So I'm going to use hole position 2. I don't know what hole position is. These are Intel parts. What? Oh my goodness, I'm going to keep and adore this forever. It's a Noctua screwdriver. Actually, it's a star driver, but interesting. Why would they not make these normal? Or actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, the stars here, which you can kind of see one here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to focus in on this, but the star there, I believe that a Phillips screwdriver will work with that as well. And that this just gives a better bite. So I should be fine. Okay. There are let's see, Intel, these are all the parts. And then setting up the back plate. First identify the side of the plate that should face the motherboard, marked with caution signs. Then choose the appropriate hole spacing for your socket. Insert the 4 bolts, the back plate to the opposite side. And marked with model name secure firm. Phillips won't work? Okay, well, we'll test it. We'll test it. So, because I have a Phillips here too. So, that's a torque driver, calibrated to a specific Newton force, but it doesn't have any mechanics in it. I am the only force applied to it. All right. So, the branding numbers for hole spacing at the appropriate position. We're supposed to go at position 2. And then attaching the back plate, we've got these little things that slide on. Oh, we're going to put them on before the back plate goes in. Put the back plate through, and then we're going to be mounting this down. This shouldn't obstruct the CPU. I should still be able to do the CPU after this. If I'm not able to, this really disrupts my whole build. Because the CPU won't be here for a week. And I want to build everything I can right now. Gosh darn it. All right, so, and then the mounting bars, and then this is what's going to go on top here. All right, looks like I'm going to have a little bit of work to do here. And so, check position. Is that the warning signs? Or is there anything else in here? Ah, there is. There's another plate in here. So, this is the initial plate that they were talking about, the secure firm. Oh, it is metal. And then we've got, okay, we've got cautions here. This side must face the motherboard. All right. So we've got thermal paste, and we've got a nice metal Noctua badge. It's a sticker. And then shim washers, additional accessory for improving contact quality and performance on LGA 1700. Oh my God, and they want me to scan this using my cell phone. Well, I guess they at least give me a web address. I'm gonna have to pull up my laptop here for some of this. So, Noctua cannot be held responsible for any damage that may occur when or due to adding the supplied shim washers. What? You're telling me to put these in, and you're telling me that you're not going to be responsible if they damage my shit. All right. Cables, cleaning wipes, and the rest of it's AMD. So we're not doing AMD. Okay, so now Got these here. And these go on the bottom. Yeah, we provide you the part, but you're fucked if it doesn't work. Is that how this is? That's how this is. All right. That's okay. We'll get through it. You know, I kind of wish that. So back in the day, when I had the computer store, you know, we would figure all this stuff out on the first one we did, and then from there we'd be all good. And you know, we would know what we're doing. We would know what mistakes we made in the beginning. We wouldn't replicate those mistakes. And I feel like, you know, you may all witness in this stuff me making a mistake and having to undo something. It's very possible, because you know, the last time I did one of these was 4 years ago, and it wasn't even the same brand or whatnot. So there might be some nuances about this. And then with them including these shims, which are in this little tiny envelope, so they must be micro in size. And giving the warning that, oh my God, I didn't read this other part. Using shim washers is generally safe if you follow the procedure described in the instructions. But like any modification to the socket, it is entirely at the owner's risk. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence here. I mean, here's what it's saying here, you know. So it's telling me that, yeah, we're giving you this shit, but you're on your own. So, you guys ever watch Survivor? The TV show Survivor? In the last few seasons, they've had these beware advantages. And so I feel like this is a beware advantage, where if I open this, I then own it, and I have to complete some sort of mission in order to successfully obtain the power of these washers. Just like an idol, right? And then it's going to save me at tribal council later. You guys being the tribal council, right? Yeah, okay. So I feel like I'm going to have to do a little research on this before I install this. So, and I got to figure out where these go. Gosh darn it, I need my laptop. Or a computer. You know what? I have a computer over here. Let's go look it up on there. I can even show it on the screen. Yep. So let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so they do give you a URL on this. All right, what do we got here? Wait, the installation manual. Don't I already have this? What am I looking at here? Oh, what? Is this telling me that I am going to pick up the socket mount on the motherboard? Yeah, to shim or not shim? That is the question. this is, I'm a little bit concerned about this. This is showing lifting up the whole socket here. This is showing lifting up this socket here, the whole lockdown mechanism, and putting the shims in this mechanism. So I am concerned about that, because this is already mounted on the motherboard, and I don't know. Let's see if this does. Does this say why? Shim washers for improving contact quality and performance on LGA 1700. Adding the 1 millimeter shim washers underneath the LGA 1700 socket. Wait, this isn't a 1700. Does it talk about an 1800? These are just different languages. So the LGA 1700 independent loading mechanism will lower the pressure that the ILM exerts onto the CPU and thereby reduce the deformation that occurs due to its pressure. With the CPU being deformed less, the contact between the CPU and medium or low base convexity heat sinks, standard and LBC versions, will improve, which can yield a typical temperature improvement of around 2 to 3 Celsius. CPUs that have been used with full ILM pressure for longer periods of time may also see slight improvements with heat-based convexity coolers. For more information, another URL. Caution, using the shim washers or so-called contact frames in order to reduce the ILM pressure on the LGA 1700 sockets has become common practice. It is generally safe if you follow the procedure detailed below, and there is no indication of negative long-term effects. However, it must be noted that any such modifications to a socket is entirely at the user's own risk. This is a $600 motherboard as well. Noctua cannot be held responsible for any damage which may occur due to adding the supplied shim washers. Gee whiz, I do not like where this is going. I know, and this motherboard uses an 1851 socket. So that's why it's confusing. You know what? I'm going to say, given the language on that and everything, that is very specifically geared towards the 1700 socket and not the 1851. And if I am wrong, the only thing that will happen is that I won't have this 2 to 3 Celsius better improvement in cooling. So I think that this is for the 1700 sockets. Yeah, so I'm not going to worry about it. That's not going to happen. All right, now that we figured that out, where did I even put the stuff? I put that magic thing somewhere. Oh, it's over there. Well, I don't need it anymore. So, yeah. So, let's see here. We're good. We're good. I also would expect that given a motherboard of this quality, this is not some cheap ass motherboard. You can get LGA 1851 motherboards for like 200 bucks that that will do the you know, the Ultra 9 CPU. This one is a, if I remember right, it was $599 or $699. I don't remember which. It was a shit ton of money. And so anyway, I would think that the quality level of this would override any need to shim anything. And so I don't know. It just disturbs me a little bit that they would even suggest that, and like, consider somebody who's doing their first time build. I'm not doing my first time build. I've probably built, I don't know, somewhere between 500 and 1,000 computers myself. And because when we had the computer store. And so I do have a fair bit of knowledge, but that knowledge is older. If I was a first time builder, I would be way confused by that. If I got confused a little bit by it, then I know that other people are getting confused by it. So yes, I don't need to. I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. It's for the 1700 as well, and so I really wish that on the website there that they had put on there, or on the packaging, that it says this is for LGA 1700 only. It doesn't say that, unless I completely missed it. And if I completely missed it, then it's not bold enough. Oh, wait, I completely missed it. It's right there. It's right there. Okay. This going back in the box. Yeah, good old ADD me. And dyslexic me. I am both dyslexic and ADD. And those are sometimes even not compatible with each other. All right, so now we got to get the back plate on this. And here we are. Is that good on camera? It is. Okay, so taking the glasses off. Those are special glasses for the computer, but they're set right at the distance of my monitors. So I can see just fine up close. And so those are for distance. Those are actually set for a 2.5 foot distance. So please phone a friend. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. So, all right. Now, I want to look here at whether or not, let's see, at what point do I need to take off all of these protection things? And I think that, you know what, it doesn't matter to me if I get a scratch in something. I don't want to accidentally leave something on. And I don't want them to be hard to pull off later because I've got this giant ass fan over it and everything. So I'm just going to pull them off now. Ooh, that's shiny. That's staticky. Yeah. So, you know, if you're into how it looks and everything, and look at how shiny that is now. I mean, it's beautiful, right? These are all in pieces. Okay. It's all very shiny now. All good. All right. Oh, almost missed one. Okay. I don't think there's any more here. And none up there. You know, if that were a silver plate there, they probably would have one on there, but they don't. So, all right. We are good. Okay, so we're going to get this thing on here now. And this is going to, according to the instructions here, I'm going to read the instructions. You know, it's typical that I don't usually, but I don't know. It's kind of like an Eve. When you go flying a ship that you're not very familiar with, that you spent all of your money on, and then you undock and you get blown up within the first few minutes. I don't want to blow up this motherboard. It's too expensive to replace. So anyway, all right, setting up the backplate, removing the motherboard. Oh God, yeah. So this is good because, and I'm glad whoever mentioned this in chat. Somebody mentioned that. Well, I may need to install this before putting the board into the case, and I'm glad that they mentioned it. I don't remember who it was, but thank you. And because I might have put this in and then been like, oh shit, we need to put it in again. Although, if we look at this, motherboard up here, actually, it might just be right back here, and I might have been able to just do it anyway with it in. This right here comes out with a couple screws, but I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and put it in beforehand here, and so we're going to flip this over. And then the caution needs to go this way, but does it have an up? Like, which way is up? It's like being in space. Which way is actually up? So first identify the side of the back plate that should face the motherboard, marked with the caution signs. I did that. Caution signs are right here. Why are we even considering mounting the CPU fan when there's no CPU? Oh, well, so this is the CPU mounting fan bracket. It's not the actual fan. And so we're going to put this in. It's going to attach to the other side of the motherboard. And then after the CPU is in, then this is going to screw into this. So it's okay to put it in before we put in the CPU. It's perfectly fine. And if it's not, we're gonna suss that out right now. Sure, it's fine. I can't imagine that you'd have to unmount the whole motherboard and then unattach this and everything to replace a CPU. That'd be pretty insane. That'd be like some foreign sports car where you have to undo a couple of the motor mounts and tilt the engine just to get to the oil filter so you can change the oil. What is it like? Ferrari is like a 6-hour job for changing the oil, some shit like that. Yeah, you're not going to Jiffy Lube for that. All right, so identify the side of the back plate that should face the motherboard. Got it. Then choose the appropriate hole spacing for your socket and insert 4 bolts into the back plate from the opposite side, marked with model name Secure Firm 2, which is trademarked. And so they must have come up with this, and Noctua is using this system for their stuff. So branding and numbers for hole spacing at the appropriate position. Okay, so there are a couple of positions here, and for the 1851, we are more toward the outside. So this is position 2. Okay. Okay, so it's going to go through this way, and I'm going to go on the outside, and then these are going to lock them in place, hold them in place here. So, oh, how interesting. I wonder how that works if you were to put it in the other position. Oh, interesting. So these are these have a little. You probably can't get the focus on it, but they're got a triangle up here, which helps them to fit into the holes here in two different positions. So you just kind of twist them a little bit, and then they lock in. So now that's locked in, and then I can put this little thing on here, and it's holding it in on the outer. I made it on the outer bracket here. So I'm learning. Yeah, a little bit. So, and I don't mind a little bit of backseating on this stuff too. There are, you know, I used to be an expert in building machines, but it's not what I do anymore. I'm more of an expert in internet spaceships and sales for internet spaceships. So that is my thing. Right. This also has a little groove here. If you don't have this up into the socket properly, this won't fit on.
The dragons.
So
less underscore is underscore
so that's
more
good too.
Underscore or underscore less just followed.
Thank you for the follow. If I'm missing anybody following or subbing, I can't see my indicators from over at this location. So all right. Last one on here. Well, I can't imagine, you know, another thing. So you guys know that, I mean, I've talked about this a little bit, how I damaged my neck, and it causes me some loss in my finger here of feeling and stuff. And doing little tiny stuff like this, I've had to compensate and do it other ways. I use my other finger here now instead of this one. And, you know, so I just count myself thankful that that's the only, you know, side effect of this injury. And, you know, I would hate to think if, you know, what if I couldn't do this stuff anymore? I mean, sure, I can pay somebody else to do it, but I enjoy doing it. So, you know, but what if I couldn't? That would suck. So what computer is this? It's the Intel Ultra Core 9. So, all right, so we got the brackets on there, and then attaching the backplate. Caution, the supplied black backplate will install over the motherboard stock backplate. So the motherboard stock backplate must not be taken off. Place the backplate on the rear side of the motherboard so that the bolts protrude through the models. I'm wondering if there's an up on this or not. There's probably only one way it's going to fit through. Now, let me see what the writing is on the board. The writing on the motherboard here is this end up, towards me up. So I'm going to take the writing on this and put it this end up as well. We're trying this, and there we go. All right, so it is fit securely over the other back plate here. Feels good. So it's got just a little bit of play, but when we attach on the other end, it's going to cinch it all down. And because it's on this other back plate here, that gives it that's going to give it extra stability. So it's going to be good. All right. Turn this back over and keeping it taut. There we go. So now we've got this here, and these are now the screws sticking up, and currently not in the way of the CPU at all. We will see how that goes. If needed, this could sit loose up in the motherboard, or when we mount it here and then screw it in. I don't think we're going to need to do that. I think it's going to be okay. We'll find out. So, all right. Now, for the LGA 1851, we're at position 2 on what? On these right here. Okay. So 1 is on the inside, 2 is on the outside. Okay. Silly putty to hold the bolts. That'd work, huh? Yeah. Okay, and there's some spacers. Let's see here. They're color-coded. So for the LGA 1851, they're blue. Got it. I can do blue. They're also rolling all over the place. Okay, so spacers in here. These other bolts I was talking about, like, I don't know if we can get focused in on that. Focus! Nope. There we go. Yeah, it's got a special star pattern there. We were talking about whether or not regular screwdriver, because they gave me this thing here, which is, exact fit, and it doesn't have much play when I do this. What about this? Nope, doesn't work. It moves freely. So this is going to be it. They provided the tool. I actually think that I have some of these star tools around, and I'm glad they provided this. This is the only thing I'm ever going to use it for, most likely. And just imagine if I was building a whole bunch of PCs, I'd have a whole bunch of these left over. Yeah, then what? All right. Let's see here. Okay. So pegs up. And are these, let's see, there's the hook, shows right there. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, yep, this is going to be a problem. All right, it's good we're looking. So we've got this here, which is going to mount down over these. And you can see here, it's going to get caught on the bracket here, which has to go out. And then, oh shit, that is tight. Okay, boy, that just raked up across my hand. Yeah, so I can see that this is, oh, that is tight. That is a lot of force used on that. I'm actually kind of surprised. So I'm not going to be able to put these on and have it be compatible with still putting this in to put the CPU in. And so now I might be able to put in this side, might not be able to. What we're going to have to do at this point is I'm just going to put these on and just do them finger tight, and that will hold this in place. But we're going to have to put this other bracket stuff on after we got the CPU in there. So just going to have to be that way. And that's fine. It's not a showstopper. And we can continue on even with it being not taut. I think that'll be fine. All right, those won't fall off. All right, so here are my two brackets for that. And I guess I'll just put them back into the box for now. All right. Now what else beyond this? Let's see here. Oh, there's different orientations. It's still going to mess up the bar here, even if I did it in a different orientation. So that's something else I'm going to have to figure out. Is that what is the orientation of this cooler going to be? What I believe it needs to be is that this is sucking air in, this is pushing air out, and it's going to face back here where there's going to be another fan pulling air out. And so I'll have to figure out which way I need to that I need to put on this bracket in order to make sure I have the orientation correct. I don't think that, I don't know. I guess maybe that's a good question about whether or not this needs to be blowing air out back or whether it could be blowing air up. Because I'm going to have exhaust fans up here. I'm going to have at least a couple. So, and it looks like I can do whichever orientation I want. Now, the motherboard here may not allow for a different orientation. It may only allow for one because it's got these high sides here and it may just be, you know, too much. If I turn it one way, it may not mount on there. So, and the wind direction, so if these are on the motherboard like this, these are actually going to go out on the sides out here, I think. Push air out back. Pretty sure. We'll figure it out. If I get to that point and I do it wrong, I'm not sure that matters much. I mean, I can just undo it and redo it the correct way. So, hope that the memory doesn't interfere. So we can talk about that for just a minute here on the motherboard. Is that the memory slots here, they are down on the board proper. And so there are some motherboards that have a housing over the memory and they have fans up top and to remove heat, which may make it so that this wouldn't fit on it. But but because these are all the way down here, there's no housing over it. I think it'll work just fine. There is a fan that I'm going to have to look up what it's for. There is a fan that I was wondering if it's mounting over the memory here, forcing air up. It might be, or forcing air over the sides of it. It might be. I don't know. I have to figure out what that little fan is for that they supplied. It doesn't say, and there is no manual. So I mean, there is. I'm going to have to look it up online, and so that'll be fine. All right. It's a good stopping point for this video. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll see you in the next one.